Hello and welcome. My name is Space Muffin and this is The Void Gaming. So today we have an awesome tier list for you. Season 3 is out and we're doing a Vanguard tier list. So, look guys, we don't want to make this video 45 minutes long. We want to get straight to the point. So we have very concise notes for you guys. Before we get started, guys, please hit that like and subscribe button and let's go ahead and get into it. So look, we're going to start from the C tier. Number 1 in the C tier, we have Penny Parker. So the thing about Penny Parker is, look, Penny Parker can be fantastic anti-dive option. She's especially when paired with Rocket. That combo can cause major headaches for the dive teams. However, her effectiveness is highly dependent on both the map and the team composition. So she's not universally a reliable pick. And that's why she's going into C tier. Now, once again, guys, these are just my opinions. We've done research on this. The next C tier hero is Emma Frost. Now, a lot of people are going to go crazy on me. They're going to be like, Emma Frost, right? So Emma Frost is another Vanguard who feels held back by the current meta, right? With so much range and so many flyers in Season 3, she struggles to make the consistent impact, basically. However, she can still function as a decent dive counter in the right circumstances like others in this tier, right? She's situational, not necessarily bad, but limited. Now, here's the deal. Let's talk about the next character, which would be Thor. So, okay. Thor is borderline D tier in Season 3, but I'm actually going to put him in C tier, and here's why, okay? He's seen some buffs recently, which have definitely helped him stay in the fight a little bit longer. That said, he's very team dependent. On some comps, he can feel like a low tier pick, but in others, he can edge up into A tier or even S tier with the right support and coordination. So, in pro play, yes, this guy, he can work depending on the comp, but in my opinion, there's better options, for these specific situations. All right, so next we need to go into B tier. So look, of course, you guys already know he's going to be here, and that would be Groot. So once known for his near unbreakable defense, Groot has dropped in the rankings due to the nerfs in his wall ability. With dive characters like Wolverine getting buffed this season, Groot struggles more. That's just how it is, unfortunately. Still, his ultimate, remains pretty powerful, when used correctly. Great in coordinated teams, but less reliable in solo play. Those are kind of my notes on Groot. Once again, I love Groot. I really do. I love Groot the character. I think he has a lot of great potential. Speaking of like some of my favorite characters, we have Venom. Venom is also going to go into B tier. And let's talk about Venom, okay? So Venom is a little bit tanky. He's got a nice, tanky presence, great survivability, but he suffers from underwhelming damage output. He's excellent at disrupting the back line and being a general annoyance, but he often doesn't provide enough impact to shift the fight in his team's favor. So once again, I love Venom. I love the character. I think he actually, once again, he's viable. But, he's being prevented from being an A tier because of those shortcomings that I mentioned. Next, we need to talk about Hulk. In fact, I'm going to put Hulk above Venom in this particular situation. Hulk is skilled in the right hands, but he can be a very, very terrifying, force against your opponents. His crowd control ability and ability to knock down flyers is very useful. Unfortunately, his large hitbox and lack of mobility and survivability make him an easy target, which often leads to him getting melted before, you can, maximize his complete value. And so, otherwise, Hulk would actually be an A tier hero. I mean, easily. But he just has those, like I said, those shortcomings. So next, we're going to move on to the A tier. And there's two heroes in the A tier here. Okay? Number 1 is Doctor Strange. Okay? When paired with Wanda, he shines. He's borderline broken, actually. He brings a good sustain to his team and could hold down his own in a prolonged fight. However, he does lack kind of raw damage output or game-changing crowd control, which that's what you'd want from an S tier pick. That said, he's still very dependable and consistent Vanguard. I would actually, once again, if his damage output were a little bit higher, he might even be S tier. The next S tier, not S tier. The next A tier hero is Captain America. Cap might be the most mobile and elusive Vanguard in the game, period. He's hard to knock down, and he excels at surviving longer, and, probably, look, while he may not have, the massive damage or dominate team fights, his ability to hold and point in a clutch, in those clutch moments, makes him a serious nuisance for the enemy team. Like, he really is just a nuisance. Like, everyone knows, playing against Cap is just, when a guy knows how to play Cap, it's super annoying, right? So, for that alone, he's going to be into the A tier. We have 2 S tier Vanguards. So, number 1 would be the Thing, okay? One of the most well-rounded tanks in Marvel Rivals right now. The Thing excels in most team compositions thanks to his durability and utility. He's a strong frontliner who can absorb damage and create space for his team. What really sets him apart is his ability to effectively counter dive comps, making him a reliable pick in high-pressure situations. So, the Thing is dominating right now the meta in a lot of ways. We'll see if this changes in Season 3.5 or even later in Season 3. But these are kind of the... I don't know, he's very diverse in that way. Incredibly good. And then finally, last but certainly not least, we have Magneto in S tier. Magneto's ultimate can completely turn a team fight if placed correctly. His survivability is extremely solid, and being the only Vanguard with range capabilities gives him a unique edge, right? So his flexibility in both defense and offensive scenarios earns him a strong spot in the meta. This is almost interchangeable. You could almost put him above the Thing, but for now, we'll kind of just leave it there. So, look, guys, that is our Vanguard tier list. Once again, thank you to Hoth for doing the research on this one. Greatly appreciate everybody. Once again, hit that like and subscribe button, guys. We're going to be doing more tier lists. So, once again, get your notifications on for that. So, really appreciate you guys, and we will see you in the next video.